Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Coffee and Conversation. My name is Ria. I am your host, and we're doing this for Yachting International Radio. I'd like to introduce my guest, John from Infinity Yacht Services. How are you today?
Good, very good, Ria. Good to be here with you.
And I have to tell everyone this is our second shot at this today because we started doing this again earlier. And of course, sometimes we have some difficulties with internet in this great world of Spain, but it is what it is. We make the best of things. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from originally?
Well, I'm from Peru. I'm from Peru. I'm from Lima, the capital. And I came here 18 years ago. 18 years ago now, and I'm still here.
Well, what got you into yacht? I mean, what I wanted to ask you, Peru is not traditionally a place where people do, I mean, yachting is not a huge industry in Peru, and especially 18 years ago, it wasn't a huge industry.
Yeah, well, in Peru, now they are building several marinas, several new marinas. Now the yachting industry is starting to increase there. But when I came here, no, I think that's something that moves in places where the boats move around a lot, things like or places like the Mediterranean or the Caribbean. When I arrived here to Majorca, I discovered an amazing yachting industry here, and I felt really attracted about it all the time until I started to work in the yachting industry 14 years ago.
So what were you doing in Peru before you came over here? What was your sort of career choice?
Well, I was doing something very different. I was working for a lawyer's company, and nothing to do with the yachting industry.
So were you planning on being a lawyer, or was that sort of your goal?
Yeah, well, no, I was working there, and as I don't know how to say this in English. It's the first time that I'm going to explain this in English. But I used to try to get to get an agreement with the people or companies that used to owe money to our clients, to our customers.
So basically mediation.
Yeah, like a mediation, yeah, more or less,
okay.
Around. If not.
So what was your first sort of foray into the yachting market here then? Where did you start?
Well, I started 14 years ago at Lantimar. Lantimar was, and I started as a cruise ship agent. I started to work with cruise ships, and Lantimar was my great school in the yachting industry, and I'm very grateful with them about it. Tony Riera, he's not with us anymore, but he was the best boss I've ever had in my life. And then Pedro Crespi, he was my colleague there in Lantimar, and he was also one of the main teachers, for saying like something like that. He told me many things that I use now as a yacht agent. I started to work as a cruise ship agent, but 3 years after, I started with yachts in the same company. Then I had the opportunity to go to other companies where I had a good time as well. I was working for BWA as a manager here in the Balearics. I was working also for all services from Italy. I was a manager here in the Balearics as well. And then, I decided to, since I have all the tools after working in very good companies, and since I was Since I had, I think, at least at that moment, enough experience to start a project like Infinity Yacht Services, I launched Infinity Yachts um, with the purpose of providing very good quality of services to the yachts. Because I think that we have very good companies here in Palma, very good companies, but I think that if you provide very good quality of services and if you provide very fast service, that's very important. That's very important, and I think that your customers are going to be happy with that.
What does it take to be someone in your position? What type of knowledge would you advise others to go out and get if they want to provide the type of services that you provide?
Well, I don't know. Well, it's everything. It's for being an agent. Everything is logistics. You have to organize everything. Since from the moment that a customer asks for something, maybe provisions, and if you have a good team of suppliers. I think that you can have a good and if you have and if you are really good organized, I think that you can have everything or you can sort everything very fast for your customers. And everything is logistics. So you have to be very well organized. That's very important. That's very important because sometimes you have a lot of boats at the same time. And you are attending several boats at the same time, and you need to be methodic and well organized to provide everything with the same quality of service to every customer.
So I would imagine management skills would be very highly sought after in that type of position, the ability to manage multiple people at the same time.
Yeah, well, yeah. Now I have, almost in January, it's going to be 7 years with Infinity Yachts, and during the summer I hired some guys to work with me. The accountant department is working the whole year, but then during the summer I contract more people. And I think that if you teach them or guide them to provide or the same kind of service that you do it with your customers, I think that they are going to, but you have to guide them to do the same, to work in the same way, so you can trust in the people that work with you. So that's why I try to guide these guys to do it in the same way that I do it, with a fast response and very good quality of service to all the customers. That's very important for me, I think.
So is it the individual yachts that hire you, or is it the charter companies that hire you? Who exactly is it that you work for?
Well, actually, in the yachting industry, nobody hires you. I mean, there's no any contract with a specific company or management company or a yacht. Sometimes, well, no, all the time the customer, the captains are the ones that they choose who's the agent that they work with. I have customers that they work with me from many years ago, and that's great because every time that I change the company, they were following me to every company that I was before, until now that I'm with Infinity Yachts, and they are still working with me, and I'm happy for that because, well, it's I see that I have happy customers.
Well, you mentioned earlier that you work around the Balearic Islands. Now, if any of these boats, for example, or yachts, needed you on the mainland, Spain, or for example, the French Riviera, Monaco, etc., are you able to service these people there as well?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I have collaborators that I work with in Italy, in Greece, in France, and also, well, in the mainland, also in Canary Islands as well. And well, now I have a new project that I'm going to talk about it, and maybe I'm going to put some information about it in the social media in the next few months, because I'm trying to now to expand Infinity Yacht services maybe to the Caribbean, but I'm in conversations still.
That was actually going to be my next question. You know, once now that you have sort of your comfort zone here and you've been working here for the past 7 years, 7 or 8 years, do you have plans to expand further to the Caribbean and as well to, for example, Fort Lauderdale? Are those sort of where you're looking to encompass the world as far as yachting?
Yeah, well, Fort Lauderdale is it's a very interesting place to go to, and to have a project there as well. In the first week of August, I was in New York, and I went to Newport, where to visit my friends of MCM. MCM is one of the management companies that I work with, and they sent me several good customers here to Palma, Ibiza, and all around here, the Balearics. And well, yes, the idea is to spread Infinity Yacht services everywhere, but step by step, little by little. I'm just I think and a small agent here now, but what I really try is to provide, as I told you, a very good quality and very fast service to my customers. And but if I have the project of um, provide this kind of services um, somewhere else, maybe in the Caribbean, as I told you before, I have to be sure that the service and the quality of the service, they have to be exactly the same as here, you know. And that's what I think.
Well, I guess, I mean, the yachting industry is very small. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, it is a very small industry. So, you know, people will follow you because of your reputation, but it doesn't take much in order to damage that reputation. And in any business as it grows, there is always that fear that you're going to lose that sort of personal service that you may have. So I'm sure that in the future, you're going to be very careful about that to make sure that your qualities and standards are upheld no matter who is, because you can't yourself run, you know, be in the Caribbean at the same time that you're here, at the same time that you're in Monaco, at the same time you're in Ibiza. You know, it is difficult. So you have to make sure that as you go forward, that you have people in place that will maintain your level of professionalism and quality, I assume.
Yeah, well, that's why I have to be sure the people who I'm going to work with, because if I have a way of working and I have very good, very happy customers with that kind of service, I have to be sure that that kind of service, the same kind of service, the same quality of service, have to be done, have to be provided in the other places.
Right. And I guess that's always a fear that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, now there are a lot of new yachting companies here. At least in Palma, I've seen a lot of new companies, and I think that's very positive for the yachting industry here in the Balearics. Um, talking about globally in Spain, well, I think that it's good for the country. Or I know that, but for the Balearics, it's very important because if we have not competitors, because I don't see them like that. I think that there are a lot of an amazing quantity of boats for everybody that I don't believe in competition. I think that that's very positive to have more companies, more yachting companies here in the island and in the Balearics. Why? Because in that way the quality, the level of the quality of the services are going to be in a better level. You know, are going to they have to increase, and if the quality of the services that we provide here in the island increase, it's going to be better for the business here, for the business of the yachting industry here, and that's very important for me. That's very important. So I think that everybody's welcome, you know. But and there are a lot of yachts that we can attend, that we can provide services here and all around the Balearics, and a lot of boats are coming every year. We are receiving more and more boats here. It's amazing. Since we have here STP. STP is the big shipyard that we have now here. That it's increasing. It's growing. It's growing. I think that every day is growing, and it's taking all the old yard, the old shipyard. It's the commercial, or the old commercial port is taking all that area, and it's amazing because now STP it's one of the most important shipyards here in Europe, and that's very important because it's a good offer for many yachts, that they are coming here to Palma to spend the winter. And it's very important also because as I told you, the economy of the island and in the Balearics itself, it's growing thanks to this, you know.
Well, I mean, in the past 7 years, I mean, I know that, you know, myself having been here, the industry has grown very quickly. And you take a look at the Palma Super Yacht Show, for example. Now they are advertising it as one of the biggest super yacht shows for the amount of sailboats. What is it about Majorca, do you think, that makes it so attractive and has become even more so attractive over the past, say, decade?
Well, Majorca was attractive in the past. Is attractive now, and it's going to be attractive in the future. I mean, it's a beautiful island. I don't know. You can go anywhere all around the island. It's beautiful here, and also the environment. Now, Ibiza, for instance, talking about the Balearics. Ibiza is crazy every year. It's full of yachts every year, and I think that, but it's not only the party, you know, of Ibiza, but it's all the beautiful places around the island as well, and also in Menorca. Menorca, it's a island where not so many boats go, but the owners or captains that they know Menorca, they know that they are going to find really, really beautiful places all around, and with a lot of peace, and that's something that many owners look for many times.
Do you think that Menorca, part of the reason that it isn't quite as popular as Majorca or Ibiza is because it doesn't have quite as much infrastructure as the other islands? I mean, amenities as far as, you know, like you said, the shipyards, as well as some absolutely amazing restaurants and shopping, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it is just a smaller island all the way around. There's not, I would imagine that you would go to Menorca more for the peace and quiet, as you said, than for the party or even for the shopping or the family excursions.
Yeah, well, there are several activities to do there. I mean, in Menorca, in Majorca, Ibiza. It happens that Majorca is the main island in the Balearics, and maybe everything is like concentrated here in Palma, because many times I have customers maybe that they are maybe in Ibiza, and they need something very urgent that we don't have in Ibiza, and we have to get it from Palma, and I think that's maybe one of the inconveniences that we can have in the islands. But normally here in Palma we have everything. That's why sometimes if I have a boat there that needs something specific that that we can't get it in Ibiza, we have to send it from Palma. But I think that everything is like concentrated here in Palma. But in the shipyard, for instance, as you told me before, having here STP and Astilleros de Mallorca, that is still Astilleros working and very good. But I think that we have a very strong business proposal for them, for the yachts, with these shipyards here.
So what do you see the yachting industry doing, say, in the next 10 years? I mean, considering the increase that they've had so much in the past 10, we're seeing a lot of change within the Balearic Islands as far as environment, in the way that they're looking at their tourism models. Do you think that's going to affect yachting in any way?
Well, the yachting industry it's growing in the islands. We know that, and as I told you before, there are a lot of new companies, new yacht companies, yacht agents. There are several, and I think that a lot now here in the island, and Ibiza as well. And I think that in the next 10 years, I think that it's increasing. It's increasing. So I think it's going to continue in that way, because since we have new yacht companies, yacht agencies, it means something, that a lot of most yachts are coming here, and I have more customers spending the winter here in Palma. This year I had to get a berth for the winter for many boats, many of my customers, because they like Palma. A lot of that's something that that we have to bear in mind, that the yachties, they like Palma, they love Palma, and a lot of them, they are even buying properties here in Palma. In Palma, sometimes in Ibiza, but here in Palma, they are buying a lot of properties. It's amazing, captains and all the crew.
Well, the one thing I guess I think about right now, there's a lot of, the government is putting a lot of restrictions on, for example, cruise ships. There's sort of, a lot of discussion going on about the environmental impact of cruise ships, et cetera. Do you think that opens up the way for more yachting, because yachting is starting to take a bigger look at what they're doing and their impact on the environment? If we have less cruise ships, will that enable more yachting to come in?
Well, I think that for cruise ships, it's going to, it won't change too much. I mean, cruise ships, as we know, they bring a lot of money to the islands as well, because every day, and at least during the summer, we receive a lot of cruise ships here. So it's very important to keep them. It's very important to keep them. And I think that they are going to continue coming here because Mallorca is Mallorca.
Yeah.
And well, but I think that talking about yachts only, I think that they are coming. They are going to continue coming every time, more and more and more of them.
Wonderful. Well, you know what? I know that you're busy. We actually tried to catch up earlier today, and you've been running around very, very busy, taking care of your clients with the utmost of integrity, as you do. So I thank you so very much for giving us your time today. I really appreciate it. And it was really interesting to get to know a little bit about you and a little bit about what it is that you do here on the island.
Wow, thanks to you. Thanks to you. Thanks for your time. Well, I'm going to be here, able for anything else that you would need.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to include with this interview and as well any future social media advertising, we're going to include your details in case anybody is in need of your services. So we wish you the best of luck and keep us in touch and let us know if all of a sudden you have a great big announcement that you're launching Infinity hunting services in the Caribbean. We'd love to hear.
All right. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
being invite. And well, we are in touch.
Thank you very much. This has been Coffee and Conversation right here on Yachting International. Thank you for joining in. Have a great day.